A few hours onward, Sieg was already well on the march, not far from Hell's forested foothills. A queer place. Instead of snow, thistle boughs, needles and cones coated soft soil the color of soot. No white on the ground and no frost on the branches. Only crowns of ice atop great green sentinels stood shoulder to shoulder, so close you couldn't tell where one tree began and the other ended, like a wall of warped wood, grooved and knotted, umber with shadow or stone gray if dead. And the scent. Sieg could hardly place it as he ascended roots as tall as fallen trees themselves. It was thick, damp and smoky like the smell of a fire pit after the rain, musty and ancient. So too did the forest echoes seem to allude to something primordial. Sounds slight as the slivers of light that pierced the canopy emerged from brush, branches, and other covers of darkness. They were the skitter of squirrels and the skulking of foxes, the haunting calls of ravens and owls, and the laments of loons from ponds unknown for centuries, hidden on the base of the mountain. To Sieg, whose entire life was spent high above the rest of the world, every noise became a lion or bear stalking from the shadows that cling thicker the further he delved. And the smells, too. Only the sounds grew less until only mustiness, blackness, silence, and Sieg's footsteps were left in the forest. Squeezing the crystal flower and focusing on its thorns, my great-great-grandfather feigned bravery as he shouted into the woods. Come darkness, come demons, come beasts all the same, come I say, I fear ye not, be ye Hobbs or Skraeling or Fey, I say come out and face me. As thou beggest, answered a strange voice, deeper than the darkest reaches of the forest, perhaps deeper than the veins of hell itself from which it emerged. The master of those strangers' words, spoken long and sonorous, with a lisp like a snake. It was because of the tail in its mouth, his own tail, thin as a tendril and red like the rest of him, laying across double rows of fangs like blue-black daggers. And his claws were blue-black too, as were the talons on his feet, bright as fire, sharp and skinny as his spindly limbs. 2 arms, 2 legs, and they were shaped like a man's, but to my ancestor they seemed more like a spider's, always bent or crooked. Yet even hunched the stranger stood twice as tall as did Sieg. Looming over him, he said, It hath been too long since one of thy kind hath braved my Stygian woods. Always I've received the dark ones instead, and never a maiden among them. The creature's claw jerked thoughtlessly to the pale pink scar dead center of his chest. It was as large as a human's fist, and seemed even bigger against crimson skin stretched taut over his elongated skeleton. Nor a champion, he finished after his unwitting pause. No matter how many houses I burned, thy people would not come. Until now.